Hey there YouTube, it's Jeff Perry with Must Be Nice Investments. Today we're kicking off a series on everything LLC as it relates to your real estate investing company. So before we do that, do a couple things for me. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, guys. Let's get rolling on this. I got 4 or 5 videos in this series. Today we're talking about the cost of creating an LLC. And of course, this is gonna differ depending on what state you live in. So I'm gonna talk a lot about what it takes in Texas and some of the other states as well. But the possible costs associated with the LLC, there's 5 of them, no matter what state you live in. One is to register your LLC. This can cost anywhere from $50 all the way up to about $700 depending on what state you're in. There's also a fee called publishing a notice of intent. That's a $40 fee. Creating an operating agreement, this could be anywhere from $0 to, let's say, $1,000, and typically an attorney would create this operating agreement for you. It's not a requirement on every LLC. It could be depending on what type of LLC you're setting up. I've got an LLC currently that doesn't have an operating agreement. Number 4, we got the title transfer tax. So this is the percent of the money that you transfer into the business. Depending on what state you're in, there could be a fee associated with that. There's not in Texas. And then a filing fee if you transfer title. That could be anywhere from $10 to $15 to $50 per property, per piece of equipment, whatever it is you're transferring into your LLC. Again, I'm not an attorney. I'm not giving you legal advice. I'm just kind of going over the cost of what it costs to create an LLC. But if you want to check for the cheapest way to get this done, I think online, you got LegalZoom, you got Rocket Lawyer. These guys can give you some affordable legal guidance, such as creating the legal documents you need, protecting your documents, and of course, all kinds of other legal advice. But what I would say in Texas is for less than $1,000, you can create an LLC. Even if you go to a brick and mortar style attorney, show up at his office and say, hey, this is what I'm looking to do. They have the paperwork. It really is just a copy and paste. They're sending some stuff to the government to make sure the name that you want for your LLC, that's the biggest part. The research on whether or not your name is already taken, that's where they're spending the money. That's where it's costing you. Everything else is kind of a copy paste into a document they probably already have. So are there any costs associated, operating costs, so to speak, or ongoing costs associated with an LLC that you need to know about? So basically there's a couple things that you may need to know about. One is an annual franchise tax, which can be, depending on the state, anywhere from $250 to $800. Some states like Texas don't have this. Most states charge an annual fee for having an LLC. It can be as low as $9 and as high as $500 too. So you got the franchise tax and then just an annual fee for having an LLC to kind of keep you on the books. The way I handle mine in Texas, I don't believe I pay anything. If you don't file your tax or your, if you don't go into the comptroller's office or the office, if you don't go online and file, hey, what you did, how you're going to handle your taxes for the year, if you do that late, I think it's like a $50 fee, but you have until May to do that. So, and you can go in there and change who's the president of the company, who's vice president, blah, 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 who's a voting member, etc. And you have an opportunity to do that once a year. You can do it anytime, but you got to do it at least once a year, I think between January 1st and May 15th. But don't quote me on that. So in addition to the 2 costs we talked about, there's a possibility that your interest rates will change as a result of transferring title on your property if you have an existing mortgage. We're going to talk a little bit about that in a subsequent video, so stay tuned for that video when it comes out. And also keep in mind that transferring ownership to your LLC may trigger tax consequences depending on the value of the property when you transfer the title. This is because the value of the property may have increased from the time you bought the property. So these additional tax consequences are something you need to think about. If you were starting and you have several properties in your portfolio, you're creating an LLC, and then you want to transfer properties into it, think about these things, do some more research, reach out to an attorney, get great legal advice, guys, set this up. And that's really it. That's all we have today, guys. Please subscribe. We got 4 or 5 more videos in the LLC series coming out very soon. And we'll see you next time.